Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our great friends over at Streetside Brewery, my favorite brewery in the city of Cincinnati. They are located in the Columbia-Tusculum East End neighborhood of Cincinnati on Eastern Avenue, and they've got some fantastic stuff going on over there. It is delicious beer. It is great food. It is incredibly friendly staff. It is the best patio I've found of a little local brewery like this. It is awesome. It is great stuff. A lovely little neighborhood. Like, you owe it to yourself to go and explore the neighborhood, enjoy a drink over at Streetside. It's very easy to get in and out of. Parking. Underrated parking situation. Okay. Very, very easy to get to. And I will go down and buy a 4-pack at the convenience store closest to my house, and they've always got Streetside stocked. Delicious options, fantastic artistic cans. Could not ask for more. So huge thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for checking them out. And on today's episode, we are talking to FC Cincinnati's own Carter Chapley. Carter is one of the only people that has actually seen FC Cincinnati in the mid-season, off-season, preseason. That's how I'm choosing to phrase this. This is the preseason that started up this week for FC Cincinnati, quasi preseason, right? And Carter goes into this, how it's a little disjointed. Different guys are on different schedules, different calendars, but we talk about how that is going, what that situation is like for FC Cincinnati, how the coaching staff is maybe approaching this, as well as Carter, a very well-known Canadian, and Canada is now booked its ticket into the round of 32. An exciting time for the nation of Canada and their soccer team. So we talk a little bit about that and the World Cup generally. So I think this was a lovely conversation. Friend of the pod, and unlike last time that we had Carter on, there is no crazy club music playing from outside the balcony. Okay, it's a very good, crisp, clean audio. So enjoy this conversation and enjoy this very lovely episode of the Postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I am joined by two gentlemen who just cannot stop rooting for Canada in this World Cup. I'm joined by the Chief, and I'm joined by Carter Chapley from FC Cincinnati. Carter, how you doing?
You know, I could be better after today's result against Switzerland, but it's hard not to be proud of the country and moving on out of the group stage for the first time ever. So it's hard not to be proud of them. So, yeah. But I could be better after a 2-1. After a 2-1 loss that felt like it could be a 0-0 draw or a 2-2 draw or anything in between. So I could be better.
Okay, that's where I wanted to start. What's the temperature check on Canada right now? Because as you mentioned, not the most glorious World Cup history, but an incredibly promising team. They are hosts or co-hosts of this tournament. So
hosts.
Getting out of the group, great. How much further should this team expect to go? Was getting out of the group the goal? Where were the expectations, and maybe where are they now?
Well, I think it's really hard to set expectations with this Canada team, if only because, like, particularly after the second match against Qatar, where I'd argue your best midfielder in Ishmael Kone is just like, his World Cup is over, right? Like pretty devastatingly. And that adds to an already mounting list of guys who are unavailable. You know, I think the most notably is Alphonso Davies. Hasn't seen a minute of this World Cup, but he's on the roster. My man Jesse Marsh today said he was a decoy player on the bench. They wanted Switzerland to think about that, which I think is quite funny to be like, yeah, guy who hasn't seen a minute of the World Cup. Worried about you.
Did it work?
No, not really. And then so he's out. Ish Kone's out. Moise Bombita, who's arguably the best center back in the Canadian pool, is out. You've got Luc de Fougereau, who's a 20-year-old starting, and he's done really, really well. And then today, Steven Eustáquio is only gets like 30 minutes because I guess he picked up something in that Qatar game as well. So it's really hard to think about like what is realistic with this Canadian team when like I just rhymed off like half a starting squad,
a full starting lineup almost.
Yeah,
right?
Of the better players on the team,
right?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the guys like did themselves really proud, to this nation really proud. I think it probably would be fair to say that the expectation or the hope going into this was that if you won the group, you got to stay in Vancouver for the next 2 rounds. Now you're headed to Los Angeles. We know that. I believe South Korea is like the presumptive opponent in the round of 32. And it just would have been way nicer to whoever you play. I don't really care who it is, to like be able to do it at home. Now you're going away in your hosted World Cup. So a draw would have done it today, but it's kind of hard to look at everything I just said and be like disappointed that you went up against a really strong Switzerland team and didn't get the result you want. Like, you played really well. And so I think a win against South Korea isn't out of the question. It's going to take a lot. I think if you look at the next couple of rounds, the way the bracket's starting to stack up, you're probably looking at like a round of 16 game or a Sweet 16. Excuse me, this is a March Madness podcast. A Sweet 16 game against either Netherlands or Morocco, which is just like not ideal for anybody.
No.
Right? Like, I don't think anyone's looking at this tournament being like, who I want to see in that next round is like one of those 2 guys. So very proud of the team. I think, tough situation, but hard not to be pleased.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any possibility that the Alphonso Davies decoy on the bench is in fact a decoy move by Jesse Marsh, that he was available today, but he doesn't want the round of 32 opponent to know that he's available? Whoa. So he said that he was a decoy on the bench and didn't play him to put South Korea or whoever it is, to make them rest on their laurels a little bit. And then they're going to be completely befuddled when there is a fully armed and operational Alphonso Davies ready to go in the next round.
Fully operational Fonzie. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Love to see it. I'm sad for Alphonso because like he has been the captain, and in a large way his rise has like been the like correlative to Canada's like rise to prominence, right? Back in, I think, kind of, if you go back in probably 2020, 2021, he starts coming in as a real player. He qualified for that World Cup in 2022, and he doesn't get to play a single game at the World Cup on Canadian soil, regardless, one way or the other. His World Cup in America, it will be played in the United States, and that's disappointing for him. I'm sad for him. So I hope he just gets an opportunity to play at the World Cup. I think that'd be disappointing if he goes through all this and isn't able to come back from whatever the ACL injury I think it is that he's been recovering for a long time. So I'm hopeful he makes an appearance in that Korea game, and then we can claim righteously that it was in fact a decoy move and it did work.
Yeah. Yes.
Jesse Marsh playing 7-dimensional chess right here.
That's what that Appleton, Wisconsin brain gets you.
Absolutely.
Or Racine, Wisconsin, I think, maybe.
As a proud son of Canada, how did you take Jesse Marsh belting out the Canadian national anthem prior to the match today?
I mean, I was doing it too. So hard not to. I mean, just that's about normal. I mean, he's a national team coach, right? Like, what do you expect?
Yeah,
that's his job.
Psyched. Yeah, love it.
Like,
nothing wrong with that.
So I don't think so.
Beyond just your homeland in the World Cup, how have you found this World Cup break? How are you enjoying it? How are you dealing with the lack of FC Cincinnati in your life?
Well, I don't have a lack of FC Cincinnati anymore. We're back. Team's back at training now. Team is back out there in training, and we're less than a month away from action. And I'll put the plug in now. There are tickets on sale now to see this team play at TQL Stadium before then against Burnley. So go check out your ticket rep. Or gosh, I wish I remembered the phone number off the top of my head.
That would
FCCincinnati.com/tickets. It ends in kick. I know that. Yeah. It ends in K. It's like
we're gonna bleep all that. No free plugs, but continue.
No, I mean I've really enjoyed the World Cup for everything. I mean, it's hard not to, right? Like we're talking about what has effectively felt like. I think I was talking to someone today about this. Like the Thursday and Friday of March Madness. I know you guys kind of did right. Like it's like that every day for like 2 weeks, and it's like hell yeah. Like because everyone knows that first like Thursday, Friday, then you get to Saturday, Sunday. All of a sudden the games start getting spaced out. There's less crossover in the round of 32, and then by the next weekend, it's like there's like 4 games, 2 on Saturday. Like, it's just not the same. We're eventually going to get to that with this World Cup. Eventually, there's only going to be one World Cup game going on, and that's going to be devastating. But it has truly been like, wake up, get some work done. Oh, there's World Cup on. Guess my day's over. Like, I guess we're doing that. And like, it's been unfortunate. The only difficult part for me is that like ostensibly all of my professional soccer watching prior to the World Cup, I have been able to like reasonably make the claim that it is work related, especially at home.
Right.
Like I can be like, oh, it's MLS. Like I have to watch this. This is part of my job. Whether like that's me making a case or not, it is. I can make the case. There is absolutely no case to be made that like watching the World Cup is like for my job. It's for my job. Maybe just like general soccer engagement, but like there's the U.S. men's national team is the only team I need to watch for my job.
Can I offer you some help in this regard?
Yeah, I think we need to pitch you some spin.
Okay. So here is what I would say about this is that I know you're not able to comment on transfer rumors or things surrounding the club, but let's say for the sake of argument that perhaps it has been put out there that this club may be courting the services of a very, very influential and very, very famous Brazilian star. Given that, if the club is shooting potentially to be signing a player of Neymar Jr.'s caliber,
sure.
Well, then just about every national team has a player of Neymar Jr.'s caliber. These are all potential FC Cincinnati players, given the stated level of ambition. You want to watch France, Mbappe? Is it really unrealistic to suggest that a club willing to target Neymar Jr. as a transfer target couldn't also be targeting Mbappe? Is it really so unrealistic that a club targeting Neymar Jr. wouldn't be interested in at least seeing what the asking price is for Erling Haaland? I mean,
it's like, what are they going to do? Say no?
Right.
Like,
you got to make them say no.
You know what's funny? That I watched that Brazil-Scotland game today, but I was truly more thinking about like, well, what would happen if this whole team was abducted by aliens? Like that too. Yeah. like that. I forget the psychic said would happen. Yes. And I was truly grateful to know that in fact, no, to my knowledge, I mean, if they're abducting players from the World Cup, they can also change the airwaves to make it seem like nothing happened.
Of course.
I didn't see it. I didn't see any abductions, and I said I didn't see it.
I mean, I watched a Star Trek. You can like beam someone down at the same time someone beams up. Who's to say that a lot of these players weren't replaced by body doubles midway through this match?
Who's to say?
Yeah. I wasn't in the dressing room. I don't know.
I think it's very likely.
And until we get to the bottom of this, we'll have to watch every single game.
I agree.
Exactly.
They could walk among us. They could be walking among us right now.
Absolutely.
Carter, I think the other thing you could throw out there is that at last check, MLS has the like 6th or 7th most amount of minutes provided to the World Cup as a
This is a case I've made. This is a case I have actually made. That it is actually my responsibility to point out to my wife every time, he plays in MLS, or he used to play in MLS. I have in fact made that case. Yes, I agree with you. Because truly, I'm not trying to make the case to my office, to my work. I'm trying to make the case to my wife to let me watch, to be like, no, we can't watch the rerun of the game from earlier. We can do something else. So I was like,
This sounds like a perfect opportunity for like a vibe coded app using some sort of an AI program of that for any given sporting event.
Sorry, I don't speak that language.
On any given sporting event that's on right now, you should be able to click a button and that it's like creates a tailor-made list of excuses as to why you need to be watching this game at any given time.
Well,
you put like your locality, the team you root for, and like just, things about you, and it spits out a list of like, oh, this person had a brother that went to your alma mater, or this player right here is going to be a free agent this offseason. So that when somebody says, why are you watching that right there? You've got a list right there on your phone you can glance down to and be like, I mean, don't you know that this is the first time these two countries have ever met in the World Cup, and that there is a past history of these countries being at war? And I'm just excited to see if a fight breaks out.
See, I have thought for years, this is that is a good idea, but a separate idea about like television watching habits is that like 3D TVs existed and were not, they clearly were a fad that died and didn't work.
Yeah.
But I always felt like they had the capacity then to like, okay, so you go home and like the wearing the glasses to watch movies and TV kind of sucks. But like, imagine the world in which you have a blue set of glasses and a red set of glasses, and you can have two different things on TV so that you and your spouse can watch two different, be in the same living room. And so you got the blue channel and you got the red channel. And so if you can, what's going on that channel? You can just switch back and forth because they're playing the same thing simultaneously, but you can kind of filter yourself out. And so, this idea didn't start as a thing to do for couples. It started as I can switch back and forth between Leafs and Raptors games and watch both.
What about one headset where the one game is in your right eye, the other game is in your left eye, and you just blink to determine what you want to watch in a given moment?
I feel like at some point then you just like stroke out. Like that's just too much sensory input. Like your brain doesn't like work in that way.
It becomes the Matrix. You're just seeing a data stream. You're like, I can just tell what's happening.
I can see through the world.
For that matter, they have the refs all mic'd up with those headsets at the World Cup. They clearly have a video stream that's going on that. I should be able to, on a VR set, if I want to watch the ref cam, just entirely consume the game from the point of view of the ref in VR.
I would have thought that they would have done that at a place like Cosm. Have you seen the big screens with like the theater?
Yeah.
Just throw that up as like it's like you're now on the field. It's just the way you want to watch the game.
Apple should be doing this with the Apple Vision right?
Pro.
Vision Pro. Excuse me. And I really appreciate that you got the correct product name there. That was very important.
Again, no free plugs. What are we doing?
Well trained.
I was reminded of this late last night. There is a former FC Cincinnati player in this World Cup that has flown tremendously under the radar. It is Panamanian player Christian Martinez, who in 2017 had a short-term loan from the Columbus Crew to FC Cincinnati, where he made a whopping one appearance for the orange.
It counts.
And blue.
Count it.
Yeah.
That's a cap, baby.
There's nothing more Cincinnati than claiming someone is a part of the Cincinnati community because they had like a layover at CBG back in the day. So a full game, that may as well be, born and raised here by that standard. Today's episode of the Cincy Postcast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. It even caused my mother-in-law to say, picked out a nice color on that. You know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy Postcast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo. elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
Also, I want to talk to you about our newest sponsor, Oliver's Desserts. So excited about this. So Chief actually put me onto them, and the stuff they're doing is just next level. First off, woman-owned shop inside of the Eastgate Mall. And this is just not your average bakery. Everything is 100% scratch-made, ultra-premium quality. If you saw the fully sculpted FC soccer ball cake or those Jersey cookies they did on social media, well, you already know that their artistry is insane. We're talking custom macaroons, Rice Krispies, brownies, even homemade Pop-Tarts. They're called Toasties, by the way, if you want to feel a little fancy. If you want to make somebody feel incredibly special for a birthday or a match day party, this is how you do it. And here's the best part. They have the skills to bake across dietary needs. I'm talking gluten-free, vegan, sugar-free, stuff that normally tastes like cardboard elsewhere. They make feel like a luxury dessert. So if you've got a family member with allergies, believe me, you know this struggle. You're looking for a shop that can do this. Oliver's Desserts has got you covered. And as a special incentive for Postcast listeners, oliversdesserts.com, link in the description as well. Use code CHIEF-SWEETS, all one word. That gets you 20% off your first order. And again, that's CHIEF-SWEETS for 20% off. Check them out. Check out the gallery on Instagram at Oliver Desserts. Give them a follow. Support local. Huge thank you to Oliver Desserts for sponsoring this episode. Man.
So we've got the World Cup going on. We're getting into the thick of it. But like you said, FC Cincinnati is back at training right now. You've been at training.
Yeah.
What is the vibe like with the team? Because I'm kind of fascinated by this idea of the biggest event in soccer is going on right now, and it is dominating the soccer conversation. It is dominating the casual conversation to a degree I wasn't expecting. And yet these other people are playing soccer professionally, training, and just not a part of that. So like, what is the vibe like in training when you know that, oh, no one's paying attention to what we're doing right here, right now?
Well, I think it's funny because the direct corollary is to like, it's preseason again. Like, because no one's looking or caring what we do right now. For most of preseason down in Clearwater, no one is able to pay attention or see what you're doing. Then you play friendlies, and then like, of course, I'm trying to do my best to like contextualize what's going on, but it's very hard. It's
Right.
The world is focused on it's January, it's snow, like soccer. It's not exactly top of mind. And the other thing is these guys were off. The team was off for a month. I think it's almost exactly a month they were off between the Orlando game and then earlier this week when everyone reported back. That's almost the same amount of time as an end of an MLS Cup playoff run or MLS playoffs run to the start of preseason, right? It's about a month. And so it's a very funny, like, dynamic to be in that, like, it is kind of, we're doing preseason again. And so it's hard to get a real judgment as to like, oh, what the vibe is, because everyone's just kind of getting their feet back under them. They've been gone. Some guys have been doing more or being in different parts of have had different kinds of breaks. You know, like Andre Schirilla played in an FCC2 game, and Christian Fletcher's doing that kind of stuff. And then you've got guys who are away doing international duty stuff, like Ender. And so it's not exactly the one-to-one comparison to preseason, but that's kind of the best vibe I can give, is that it's kind of like it's time to restart. It's time to, you kind of have to, you know, I hope everyone didn't forget all their math homework over the course of summer, but like, right. it does feel like it shouldn't be the case, and that it should be like, okay, time to build on what has already happened. But the vibe has been like, it's more like a preseason, to the point, like, even today they did a 2-a-day training, right? Like they were out on the field twice, which they don't do typically during the regular season, but is not uncommon down in preseason. So, kind of strange, but it's been nice to see everyone kind of get back and like just start to get into the build for when the team starts to play competitive matches again.
Yeah. So what is, this is where I really need to lean on you. So what is the rule right now? Should every player have been back? Is it optional up to a certain point? Like, what is the coming back sort of situation for these players? Essentially, without you being able to comment on this, should I be worried about holdouts?
No, I know I wouldn't. I don't think there's any reason to be worried about that kind of thing. It's different for everyone. Like I just kind of said, Pat said it before the break, that there's like kind of 4 different calendars they're working on for guys that like, you know, for example, like one guy who hasn't reported back for preseason is Miles Robinson. He's with the US men's national team. Like, like obviously there's, so like, that's not to say that there's anything to be worried about. It's just, there's different calendars to be present on. And so like everyone's kind of doing their own things. And this is also, it's summer. Different guys have different things to do. And so, yeah, I mean, it's there. I don't want to speak on like, well, what are the rules on that? Because I don't think there's a hard and fast rule.
Okay.
It's everyone has, it's there, like they've kind of got a plan for everybody. And I don't think there's anything to be worried about to what you're talking about, but but there's always like different things. Guys have different schedules and different things going. Because like so for example, like FCC2 is going to play a game this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody involved in the first team operation involved in that game too.
That makes sense.
You know, is that, you know, Andre, is that Adamar Chavez? Like, I don't know the lineup. I don't know what the plan is, but like, just saying it wouldn't be shocking, but that's going to change the way you approach. I'd imagine change the way you approach preseason.
Yeah. And then
mid-season, preseason 2.0.
Yeah, right. So then in preseason, we see the team play friendlies that are to a lesser degree or greater degree advertised. Occasionally there's a stream. Do we obviously Burnley tickets available? Call now, click to buy. But is there the expectation that there may be some friendly games, maybe against MLS teams or USL teams or college teams?
I think what's been announced is what's going to happen, to my understanding, which is the Burnley match, friendly versus Olympia, which will be I think before that game, but I'm not sure. That will be a closed door friendly.
Okay.
But it's my understanding at this moment, and obviously material changes can happen. These things change. It's my understanding that that I will have some kind of like live coverage of that friendly, whether it's a live blog, whether it's something else.
Yeah.
That's my understanding, but I'm not. That's not like a announcement of any kind. That's just kind of like we would have done that for a preseason game, so we're kind of approaching it the same way.
Okay.
And I think those are the only two formal friendlies organized. Now, is the team maybe going to like play themselves? They do that every week. Like that's not not a thing. Like they play 11 on 11 all the time. So like, but that's not going to be anything special or different. This would be like, those are the only two matches that are going to be taking place, to my understanding.
So with this being treated as almost like a preseason, with the way that the training is being structured and the reporting schedule and all that, we had seen sort of before this team went on hiatus that it seemed to us, and I think probably to most people, that this team had started to sort of put things together and was figuring some things out. The offense was on a major upswing. The defense seemed like it had settled down a little bit. Do you get the sense, or are you expecting it to continue with what we've seen, or do you think that there's a chance that this team is viewing this as a new beginning and, hey, we're not worried about building on what we had before, we're worried on doing something we're focused on doing something new and being better in a different way?
I will say, to some degree, I may be speaking prematurely because I am speaking with some players and coaches tomorrow as like the first kind of like, trying to give everyone like a couple days to like get back into training and get the sense of what they're doing. But I will say, I think my understanding is that like the goal would be to build on what was positive in the first half of the season, and then take what was negative, the weaker aspects, and build on those too. That's not the best way to put that, but like, the goal would be to take what was positive and continue that, and then to take the negatives. And I think that, I think Laurel wrote a great piece with Chris more towards the beginning of this little break. The defensive element is the thing they want to work on. The thing that needs to be at a higher level to be a championship team. And I think they want to develop that. I think that they probably feel that there are ways you can do that don't take away from the strength of the offense. I think that they don't see it as like this, well, we have to play more offensive. We have to play more defensively, which will then, it's like a rubber band that will then pull back on the offense. So my understanding is that you get 4 weeks to work just with yourselves. You can get a lot done. We've seen that every preseason to differing effects. But my understanding will be, I may have more information and have something to write about that tomorrow after I speak, which would be Thursday. I don't know if you're going to hold out on posting this until like next week, but like tomorrow that like may better contextualize that. But my understanding would be it's an opportunity to continue to build on what you did well in that first half, and then fix what was bad. I don't think it's like starting entirely fresh.
Yeah. On that point of starting entirely fresh, I am really interested to see how this plays out, which is especially going into the season, Kevin Denke, clear number one striker, and then it felt like a well and true open competition for the second striker role on this team. Lots of guys are sort of tried out there, and as the season went along, and certainly at the end, it was clearly Kenji's role to have. He was the presumptive starter, I think, and had the season continued to go forward, I think that would have been the case until something else had happened. Do you get the sense that maybe these position battles are reopened in a break like this? Or is there the sort of carryover of this is the team we've sort of settled into? And then if you got to knock Kenji off of that spot, or does it go back to being an open competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of the premise of the way you're framing that implies that it's not always a competition.
Fair,
right?
Fair,
like it implies that, like, you know, if Kenji, who I think just based on minutes played and starts, is the presumptive second striker in that group, or if he's not, has a place on the field.
Yeah.
When needed to be used elsewhere. But he's in the 11 is, I guess, the best way to put it. But if he has a bad run of games, that's going to make a difference. Like I don't think it's as well, like he's the starter and that's the way it's always going to be because we have to do that. I think it's always about form, about performance, about consistency. And one thing Pat's talked about is having a little more consistency in the lineup. That might be part of it. That might be more solidifying to what you're talking about. But I think much like how the regular flow of the season goes, I would have, if I have to get, and this is me speculating, I don't have any insight into how Pat plans to line up the roster when Vancouver Whitecaps get here on July 22nd. But my guess would be, it's probably Kenji's spot right now until it's not, but that can change. Like that can, things happen. I mean, God forbid, knock on wood, I'll literally knock on wood, injuries happen, changes happen. But I think until there's substantial information as to otherwise, that it's probably his spot. And I think that's probably true throughout the lineup. Mm-hmm. Though I'm unsure. I know every time we've kind of talked about whether, for example, Pavel Buka is a right wing back, or that if Dado Valenzuela is a 6/8 double pivot. Pat has never been fully committed to that's what we want to do full time moving forward. He's always been like, this is what we're doing right now. Until, I think and I don't even know what those friendlies are going to look like, if they're going to be because of the way that they're being played, are they going to be an insight into that? I don't know. But until then, we don't really have a look at what he's thinking, but that may emerge more as training continues. So we'll see.
Kevin, number one, knock on the wood paneling behind you with the injury thing, please.
I've got.
All right, good. All right.
Plenty of wood.
I did on my desk as well. I know Keller did too. Carter, you mentioned Pavel in there with regard to his role, and we saw him playing out on the wing. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how it ends up shaking out with him in his position here with FC Cincinnati, he came tantalizingly close to making the World Cup roster for Czechia. Has he reported back?
Not Czechia, Czechia.
Czechia, sorry.
Czechia. It's a slightly different period.
Czechia. Sorry. Tongue-tied. Has he reported back? How's he doing? Because I just, on a human level, I always wonder how people do when they come so close to getting something they're working so hard for, and then just come up so short at the finish line through no fault of his own. I mean, I think he did everything possible to put himself in a position to be one of the final three out on the bubble for the World Cup roster. But as he reported back, how's he look? How's he doing to the extent you've been able to see thus far? Yeah,
I mean, he's reported back. He's got a slick new hairdo as part of his as part of his look back. I mean, he cut his hair. It's a little more buzzed down. It's the summer. It's hot.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm devastated for Pavel not making the World Cup. And it feels almost more painful because it's not as if he was a regular member of that, or he received call-ups before. That friendly right before the World Cup, I think, was his debut with the national team.
Yeah.
And it's almost more painful to it wasn't in your head. All of a sudden you're part of the group and you're so close and you might be able to do it. You go to the World Cup qualifying and you help the team qualify. And then at the very last minute, you're literally the last guy cut. It reminds me a lot of that scene from Miracle. I forget the guy's name where he has to go tell. Or Herb Brooks. Why can't I think of the actor's name? Kurt Russell has to go tell the last guy on the roster because he was the last guy on the roster. And so it makes me think of that a lot. It's devastating. I have not had the chance to speak with Pavel about his state of mind. I don't think I need, I'm sure he's devastated. I'm sure that's painful. I would hate to be in that position. But the one thing we know about Pavel is that he is a consummate professional and he always shows up wanting to do more. We also know that he is, in at least the way he speaks, fueled by some of the things like this. I do know that. Like, I spoke with him after the World Cup qualifying playoff where he got called up to the team, wasn't named to either match day roster for the semifinal or the final where they end up qualifying. And he spoke about how, like, that really upset me. Like, I really wanted to be on the field. I wanted to have at least the opportunity to be selected to get onto the field if I was needed. And that upset him. And he talked about that, like, really fueling him and really, like, pushing him, continuing to push him forward. So I know he is fueled by things like this. But Czechia is number one on my hate watch for him.
Yeah.
How dare they do that to our guy Pavel? Absolute villains.
Yes.
Villains.
Yes.
Until they call him back up. And then once they call him back up, heroes.
I'm buying the jersey.
But until then, villains.
Yeah.
Oh, we were so close to buying tickets.
Yeah, I'm here for Pavel revenge tour, by the way, regardless of all this.
I know people who purchased trips to Atlanta to see the Czech Republic play. I think they're playing South Africa there. Yeah. Who with the just in case of seeing Pavel, and then obviously had to change those plans. But yes, would have been heroes, but they're not. Yeah. I had the kid in the shopping cart,
Yeah, same. I was attempting to figure out what number he was going to wear. I was on that. I was close to driving to Atlanta just to boo.
right.
Not even cheer for South Africa. I mean, I probably would have cheered for my Sundown players on South Africa.
Say you're very Mamelodi Sundown coded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I would have gone and cheered for my Sundowns, but it would have been specifically to boo them for failing to select Pavel. I was ready to commit to that. Until then, I wondered then, if it would be bad if I was in the stadium booing loudly. And I bumped into Pavel, who wondered why I was booing his countrymen or something like that.
Right, because he's like, listen, I didn't make the team, but that's still my home country. I still support them.
I know all those guys.
I'm still a fan. Those are my friends.
I'm doing this for you, Pavel. It's don't.
It's so funny.
On the topic of FC Cincinnati, obviously defense has been a big topic, and center back chief amongst that. Who do you think benefits more from the time off, the time to recuperate, the time to heal, maybe the time to bed in? Matt Miazga or Andre Shirilla?
Probably Matt Miazga, because Andre played during the break, so he had less of a break.
Okay,
quite literally. He played for the twos, and he also played for the I want to say it's the US U18 team. They went to Spain. They went to Spain.
Teams.
It's 17 or 18. I think it's 18s, but it might have been 17. But he played for them, so he had less of a break. And he's also I asked Pat about this with specifically with Andre in mind about hey, is it really ideal for in the middle of a season a 17-year-old to not play, to literally have a month off? And it was well, no. That's where the question of the four different kinds of schedules came up, because he's we have plans for these guys to get minutes. I think for guys like Matt, I think the same can go for Teenage and Alvis and the rest of that defensive core. Getting healthy was really important. Team had not been healthy. Team had kind of been a ragtag group of defenders just based on health, which is not ideal. And so coming back a little healthier, a little stronger, a little more rested, I feel probably only suits them, helps them more compared to a 17-year-old who, I think I once heard in a TV show, you could eat Tupperware and your system would process that. So that's you got a little bit more resiliency as a youngster. That said, getting another month of preseason for young players doesn't hurt. That's a lot of opportunities to learn and grow and spend time with coaches and spend time with in more specific, how do I say, me related, person related training. Probably doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I buy it. So Carter, then what should fans be looking for when it comes to the FC Cincinnati mid-season, off-season, preseason from you, the team? What is going on out there? How can fans stay engaged with the orange and blue?
Yeah,
besides listening to this great podcast that you're on right now.
Of course.
Obviously.
Our content team is still like, it's actually kind of strange because like usually when we go down to preseason, we send a small contingent of a content team. Yeah. And it's me and a photographer and a comms person and a videographer and a social person. We have a great time, but it's a very small contingent. We have our full staff here. So there's a little bit more we may be able to do. Now, is it going to be different? Have we never done this before? No, we've never done a preseason in Milford. The whole dynamic changes a little bit, but we do have a lot of opportunities to I think keep fans connected and show that we're kind of on our way back to a match. I'll be out there every day at training, trying to provide updates, trying to provide what I can. I'll have stories, talking to guys, whether they're like specifically about like what's going on at training every day, or I think for a lot of FC Cincinnati fans, there are going to be guys who are, maybe Kevin, maybe Evander, maybe Matt, maybe Miles, maybe Obi, but there are guys on this team, Tom Barlow, Kenji and Bombadem, we mentioned him, who, hey, he scored a lot of goals. Who are these guys? Trying to do some work to try and maybe, hey, when you come back, these are the guys who have been really influential to this team's success. Let's talk about them. Let's help you learn about them. So I think there's some opportunities to do some really cool stuff. And then, of course, the friendlies are going to happen. I encourage you to get out and watch the team play against the team in it's a preseason match for them as well. It's a summer tour. But to see what FC Cincinnati might look like faced up against a team that's going to be playing in the championship next year. A team with a lot of history and a lot of culture, and that we don't get to see every day, right? It's the almost 10 year to the date of the Crystal Palace match, which I think is quite notable in this club's history. So, and then there's going to be the friendly against Olympia, and I think that I'll be on the ground to help you kind of provide context, and we can I'll maybe come back and talk about it. See, so who knows? But there's going to be a lot. You can always find us over on our website and my social channels, but there's going to be stuff coming out eventually. There's going to be lots of stuff, and as the team kind of gets more settled and closer to our July 22nd kind of restart, and then Leagues Cup, and then as it goes. But until then, hopefully we get to see an FC Cincinnati player play Thursday night. I'm really hoping. I have my fingers crossed. The situation couldn't be better for him to potentially get to make a World Cup debut, which I think would be really cool for Miles Robinson as an FC Cincinnati player to play in the World Cup. I think that'd be really great.
I mean, just anyone that gets a chance to live their dream of actually playing for their country in the World Cup. The fact that he plays for FC Cincinnati is just really cool. Carter, you've been awesome. I got one final question for you. We'll get you out of here so you can convince your wife of the necessity of watching the next 2 World Cup games that start at 9. Who's winning the World Cup? Go on the record.
Yeah, I think I've decided that it's gonna be Brazil.
Whoa!
I think I've decided that it's gonna be Brazil in my head. Well, if only because I think that's the team that I picked. I helped my dad pick in the bracket that he filled out, but also because after watching them today against Scotland, it was very interesting to see like teams get better over the course of the World Cup, and that just a third game, but the difference of how they look first game to third game is like you keep that kind of trajectory.
Yeah,
that's really tough to beat. So I think like it might be a kind of like saying Brazil is a dark horse, but it kind of feels like everyone's kind of down on Brazil, and that feels like a mistake. It feels like a mistake to be down on that kind of group. So
as a follow-up question, then you can interpret this however you want. Will there be a World Cup winner playing on FC Cincinnati sometime in the next calendar 12 months?
Calendar 12 months? Gosh, when the U.S. men's national team wins the World Cup, that's going to be pretty great. That's going to be pretty great.
I cannot wait to see Gio Reyna in the orange and blue. It's going to be fun. Oh, my God. Now, Carter, this has been a blast. We'll be cheering for Canada as well. Open for the best. And, hey, give our best to Paul, okay?
I will. He doesn't know I'm coming on today, so like I'm definitely gonna get a text in the morning, like very excited whenever it hits his podcast app.
Yeah, shout out Paul, number 1 of the 12. Love him.
Yep, my guy.
Carter, I was going to give you the option since you are going to be the episode to say our final words. I don't know that you're allowed to.
I'll spare him.
Fuck Switzerland.
Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They're a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever, just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors, a even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon, but maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.